back to another episode of Buffalo Happy Hour. Mike, what's going on?
Derek, we are doing another Zoom, which leads us into our introduction phase because Zoom calls generally mean we have someone not in Western New York.
Correct.
So we should start with introductions and then titles, I guess we should say, and then we'll just start diving into our conversation, man.
Scoot back a little bit because your forehead's in the lens right now.
Your forehead's in the lens, Derek.
Everyone relax. Everyone calm down. What am I supposed to say something now?
Yeah, introduce yourself to our lovely audience.
Hello, Buffalo Happy Hour audience. My name is Jake. I have known Mike for a long time, probably a decade or something?
Yeah, a decade.
Ish. Kind of funny because we met in Los Angeles, of all places, despite neither of us living there anymore. But I moved to Utah a few years ago, kind of life reset, wound up about two and a half years ago, starting a YouTube channel called the 1911 Syndicate, like the number 1911 Syndicate. Basically a gun and gear outdoor channel, shooting content, stuff like that. It's just started with kind of a no real grand plan and just kind of grows day by day. So just keep figuring it out.
So you left Los Angeles, and this is going to date both of us, but because you were looking at opening a range in California. And,
yeah, it's true, absolutely.
And then you dove into the bylaws behind it, and you're like, there's got to be an easier way. And you're like, it's on the other side of the fence. So you started packing up.
Much.
So
I was trying to open a range in Los Angeles because Los Angeles literally has two ranges. One is by LAX. It's a shithole. It's called LAX. Like that's the actual name of the range. And then the other one is literally right off of Skid Row. So
Jeez.
It's just a straight death wish to even try to get to LA Gun Club. I mean, literally like the block over from Skid Row. Like probably not the best place to have a bunch of guns floating around.
What were you doing in LA to begin with? Did you grow up there?
No, grew up on the East Coast, Virginia, actually. Moved out to LA when I was like 21, something like that. And worked in the entertainment industry for maybe a year and a half. Then I started selling vitamins is probably the easiest way to put it. And just had a run at that for about 10 years, eventually got bored and just had a business that was just kind of running itself. And I started getting into guns and shooting, and that kind of leads you down a path where you're like, okay, cool. Now I started getting into dogs, and now I'm going out of state to do shooting courses and dog stuff. And so I'm in Wyoming and driving through Utah, and I'm like, this would be a pretty cool place to move. So I just, into 2016, I was like, I'm out, man. Like, I'm at a phase of life, not married, no kids. I'm like, you're going to bounce. This is the time to bounce.
Sure. Well, was there a reason behind Utah, or just because it was close enough to California and it made sense legally?
It didn't have anything to do with proximity to California. It was more so I wanted to go to a place that had mountains. I actually wanted a cold place. I actually like the cold. Mm-hmm. Like the winter is my shit. Like I love the winter. It was beautiful. Like I could afford to live here. Even 4 years ago, it was a lot more affordable to live here than it is now. But I was like, man, I could move there and actually like feel like an adult, buy a house, like feel like I'm doing okay in life. And so, and it had good gun laws, all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, it was this. Wyoming has like 7 people that live in it. So I'm like, well, I'm not going to go there. Like I'll be bored it's beautiful, but I'll be bored out of my mind. So yeah, I don't know. I just kind of rolled the dice on Utah.
So what got you into guns in the first place?
I would say movies largely, because
Sure.
That's the answer for all of us. If we're all being honest,
Right.
Like you watch too many action movies as a kid. But it was, I went through a phase where it's always a weird thing to talk about, but essentially I sort of like semi-retired at 29, 30 years old, right? I say that in zero way to like flex or whatever, not that. It's point being like, I'm 30 years old and I've got a bunch of free time on my hands. And I'm like, what the hell do I do with myself? I want to indulge and learn how to do new things and like be a man of culture. Somehow that led me down the path of guns. But I bought my first gun. I went to a shooting class, got my ass kicked by 2 girls that were in the class. My male ego, right, is just like completely like not okay with this. I'm like, I'm a dude. I outshoot everyone despite me not knowing what the hell I'm doing. And so yeah, every weekend I just started going to classes, learning how to shoot. Then I started traveling out of state, doing classes, things like that. And it was just, I've got kind of an obsessive personality. So typically things that I get into, I get pretty like kind of hardcore into it. And yeah, it became fun. Like the shooting is fun because it's probably a lot harder than people would assume that it is. Because you look at some, stupid movie and you're like, oh yeah, it looks so easy. It's like, yeah, well, first of all, they're not even shooting anything. They're shooting
weird
blank.
that they have literally no recoil on their guns. It's like, what are you doing?
Dude, I can't remember what it was. I was watching something like a day ago, and someone was shooting a shotgun, like, probably a 12 gauge shotgun, and there's zero recoil at all. And I'm like, this is hilarious. Like, you can't just hold a shotgun like this and like, it doesn't work that way. The thing would just like, I mean, you might be able to hang on to it, but it's not going to be fun. It's just so funny. I mean, the disillusionment of Hollywood and firearms, but that's probably a story for a different day. But yeah, it became fun. Like the skill set of it became fun. It was like, hey, it's a nice byproduct that in theory there could be the day when your ticket comes out on planet Earth and you're happy you have those skills.
Right.
Hey, statistically, probably not going to happen. But if that day comes, cool. Hey, at least you invested into a hobby that might save your life one day.
Absolutely.
But beyond that, it's just fun. It's just fun. Like it's fun. I don't care who you are. I've taken a lot of people who are even like, super left leaning shooting, who would probably be like super not in the gun camp. And every single time they're like, yeah, this is a lot of fun. Like, it's cool.
It is. And it's the same thing with power tools. It's fun to use power tools, and a firearm is just a tool. You just got to elect the proper time to utilize said tool, for lack of better terms.
100%.
So your channel always starts off with the fact that real estate's involved in some way or another. So
yeah,
you moved to Utah, and you're in a spot where you're kind of thinking about which course of action you want to travel down and take, essentially, and then you fall into real estate. And was that because of your own experience with buying a house in Utah, where you're like, this seems like a viable option for me, and then you just pursued it out of the yearning to learn more? Or what was that process?
No, like I bought my house before I was into real estate. The guy that sold my house, I would not say, like, it's not like he was bad or anything. Just like, you wouldn't be like, well, that's, the most impressive, businessman I've ever met. But I don't think that really got me into it. I think it was largely just me kind of looking at it objectively going, okay, it seems like this is largely about like data and metrics and logistics and stuff like that. I'm like, I know I'm good at that. Like, I know that's a strong suit of mine. I didn't realize that the whole business is purely marketing. Like, you can be an asshole and not know how to do anything, but if you're good at getting clients, that's actually all that matters, truthfully. But which is probably not my strong suit. But yeah, I don't know. It was one of those things. I look at it like the tiebreaker round. Like, I had a good run in business when I lived in California, and then I tried to do like the shooting club in LA. That was a disaster. Probably largely, well, one, it was doomed to begin with. Two, I don't really think I had the motivation to really pull it off. But I was like, I'm 1-1. Like, I've had one hit, I've had one flop. So I'm like, we need a tiebreaker round. Like, we got to find out, like, am I decent at entrepreneurship, or was I lucky? And that was almost the premise. Like, okay, you're either good or you're lucky, and you're about to find out.
I like that. So are you only licensed in Utah? Or I don't know almost anything about real estate. So I know there's some certifications in New York State where it just like rolls into other states. Is that the same with real estate or no?
No, New York, man, you guys live in a weird land out there. At least when it comes to both real estate and guns, actually.
Yeah. And a lot else.
But yeah, right. But no, New York's kind of its own thing. I'm only licensed in Utah, but we wind up because, hey, we do YouTube videos, and inside of YouTube videos, we're like, hey, let us know if you need real estate help. Obviously, those people are all over the country. So if someone hits us up from New York, which has happened, like, hey, we just try to put you in touch with an agent that's there, that's licensed. Like, hey, I can't do it. I don't live there. Even if I was licensed there, like, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, catch a flight 2,000 miles to come, like, open up a door for you? Like, not a good use of time. So, yeah, we'll just take on, like, partners in different areas and just, just refer business out all over the country.
Gotcha. So on the real estate side of things, before we dive into your channel even more, because there's a lot to talk about on that front, but is it always single family homes? Are you doing apartments? Are you doing both? Like anything that's available for someone to pay a month payment for, you're involved?
Not really. Like, I don't touch rentals. If someone's like, hey, can you help me find a place to rent? There's no value that I bring to the table. Like, you're going to go look at the same sites as me. There's no proprietary like realtor software for rentals, really. In some like New York City, yeah, probably that's totally a big business. Where I live, no, not really. So I won't touch that. So it's primarily just single family stuff. But we get hit up a lot, like probably the majority of requests from people that want to buy land that they can shoot on. And it's the most obnoxious thing in the world, because essentially someone has this notion that pops into their head, probably while they're having a drink, and they're like, it'd be great if I just bought some land and I could just shoot on my own property. It's like, hey, we've all thought that at some point. However, you all like to email me about it. And I know that there's nothing behind it. Like, first of all, that's a cash deal. You cannot finance that. So this is a waste of a conversation when someone's like, yeah, I've got like $7,000 to make it happen. I'm like, well, don't fucking email me about that then. So I have to rip the Band-Aids off of a lot of people and just be like, no, stop. Conversation's over. Like, there's no point in us consuming time on this.
Is out here in our La La Land, no pun intended, we have a requirement of 30% down to buy property. If it's specifically land. If it's a house, it's 20%. Is that the same in Utah?
It depends what the part of it is, depends what it's zoned for. Like, if you're buying land for recreational use, yeah, you're not financing that. Like, that's a cash deal. You might find some super weird lenders that'll play around with it, or like hard, like private loans, stuff like that. But if it's recreational, which is what most people are hitting us up for, it's a cash deal. If it's you're going to buy land and you're going to build a house on it, then yeah, you could do probably even like 20-25% down. But even at that, man, it's tricky. Like, it's tricky. Like, are you going to buy it and build on it in 5 years? Because that financing is totally different. If you're going to buy it and build on it in 6 months, because that's construction loans, which are their own separate nightmare. So it's just like, dude, a lot of people love the idea of building stuff, and I get it. I'd love to build a house too, but this is not really the part of the country where you do that. Like, yeah, you can go do that Midwest, South. That's totally normal. Out here, nah, man. The mountains, not going to happen.
Why is that? Specifically because of terrain?
You just need fuck you money, like, for lack of a better way to put it. Like, if you're going to do that, like, okay, cool. Like, you want to buy a piece of land that's big enough to shoot on and build a house on, and you don't want neighbors and all that. Like, cool. This is a multi-million-dollar project, and you're going to build a custom house on it. Like, cool. Like, there's no point in having this conversation unless you can float a $2 million mortgage payment, which would also mean that if you're doing that on new construction, you got to have at least, call it $400,000 sitting there in cash. So, hey, if you can't support that, like, don't entertain the conversation. Like, this is just not the part of the country where there's dirt cheap land and just acreage. Like, nah, dude, it's the Rocky Mountains. Like, it's not like that.
What acreage are you looking at out there? Is it pretty limited?
So Utah is in the list of states that have the most public land. Like, it's considered BLM land, which is kind of funny because BLM is, definitely taken on a different context, but it's actually a government organization called the Bureau of Land Management. We have a shit ton of BLM land, and I think we rank as like top 5 states. So it's something to the effect of 75-80% of Utah is public land. AKA it cannot be purchased. It cannot be built on. That's part of why I love it out here. Like, I can drive 45 minutes in any direction from my house and go find cool terrain, and I can shoot on it and blow stuff up on it. So there's not really, I mean, you're talking what, 20% of the state you can even buy? Most of that's bought. So there's a lack of availability of land. Texas has the same thing, but the inverse. It's like, okay, the land is kind of pricey, but it's because all the land is owned. There is no public land in Texas. It's all privately owned. We've got the inverse, which is there's not that much land you can buy because it's owned by the public. Like, the whole state is public land.
That's interesting. I don't think we've ever had that conversation before in general.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a thing.
Yeah, but it makes sense because, well, for one, you can't make land, like, you can't just produce more of it.
In the metaverse, you can.
Whatever.
No doubt.
And then, no doubt. But then you got places like Montana where you have, a million total people in the state of Montana, and it's just this ginormous plot. It's just ridiculous. So, moving on. 1911 Syndicate.
Yeah.
You decide to start a channel, and what was the original intent? Was it always to review guns?
No, not at all. It's funny because I've made a conscious choice not to delete a lot of stuff, because like I've seen channels and stuff where over time, or you even see it on people's Instagram pages, where over time they want to keep their page like super manicured and stuff, so they start deleting old stuff that wasn't like on brand or like didn't look as good. I'm like, if someone scrolled to the bottom of the 1911 Syndicate YouTube page, you'd be like, what the hell was this page? Like, it was, for lack of a better way to put it, like tactical sketch comedy. Like we were doing like skits for gun related shit. And I didn't really know, like I had the notion when we started it of like, maybe if I could create eyeballs, I'm pretty sure I could use those eyeballs to leverage selling a service of real estate. So it's a matter of how do I get the eyeballs? So I just had this notion of like, I don't know, let's just do like little stupid 3-minute, videos and shit like that. And, but no one cared. So I did that for like a year. No one cared. like it was a fun concept. I haven't seen any of that stuff in a long time. Most of it now is probably 2.5 years old. Like if you scrolled like 2.5 years back, you'd be like, dude, this thing was way, way, way different. And, but it was I made a conscious decision. Like, I think a lot of people get stuck in that like paralysis by analysis thing where it's like, they want to create the perfect plan and, do all the research. And I'm like, look, I'm just going to go do stuff. And if it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. I'm going to listen to feedback from people. Or if there's no feedback, it's probably because no one gives a shit. They're not watching it, which is feedback in itself. And so I'm just going to go make stuff and see how it goes, and I'll adapt. So I did that for like probably a year. And then a buddy of mine was like, I think you should do a gun review. He's like, if you're going to market stuff to that audience, like, why don't you just indulge and start doing like going for the red meat, like give them what they want, give them gun content stuff. And I was like, I don't really want to do that because most gun content is very, very boring to me. And it's not, it doesn't make me want to go do it, but I'll give it a shot. So we filmed, I don't know, like 3-4 videos in a day, put them up. They got way more views and brought in more subscribers, which at that time was, very, very few. And, but I was like, okay, well, I think I figured out what people wanted to see. So that was like 2.5 years ago, I think, that we did our first gun video. That was totally off the cuff, no research, no nothing. Just grabbed a couple personal guns, went out in the desert, talked about it. Production quality was terrible. The colors were blown out. The audio shit. Like it's just, it's really bad. But I leave all the old stuff up because I'm like, I don't know. It's part of the story. It's part of the evolution. So we just kind of kept getting better over time. Tried to like kind of got obsessive about production value and stuff like that. Just started figuring it out.
So did you have a template on what you wanted to do for a gun review? Like what makes a gun review to you?
Frankly, the bar for gun reviews is really low. It's as a good percentage of gun reviews. You literally don't even see the person. It's a tabletop, like you have a camera that's like hanging here, pointed down onto a table, and you have a guy playing with a gun down here and talking about it. And it's just like, that does not interest me. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't judge you for it. If that's what you want to do on your review, cool, knock yourself out, dude, whatever makes you happy. But it does not make me want to do that. Like, if it's not kind of fun and interesting, then I'm not going to want to do it. So I didn't know what I actually prided myself at first on. I do no research. I just show up and I wing it. And then I started figuring out, my obsessive brain kicks in, right? And I start latching onto the idea of this, and I started getting kind of intrigued by getting better at it. So now it's, tons of research that goes into stuff. It's, if I don't have product at least a month before we're supposed to film it, I can't do it. Like I need at least a month to go through prep, testing, evaluation, calls with manufacturers, prepping notes. What are we going to do on voiceover and music? And I mean, like, it's a full process. Like, I probably should have not opted to do that. It would have made my life a lot more simple. But
so you learned all that just by trial and error?
100%. Like, literally, like the first gun video I think was on a Sig 365. I think that was the first thing that we did. Maybe it was 365 versus Glock 43. I think that's what it was. And like we just did it, talked about it, basic edit, nothing fancy at all, put it out. And then the next one, and it stayed like that for probably 3 to 6 months. And then I started getting a little bit more serious about trying to learn kind of what I was talking about. But it was purely like just bit by bit, trial and error. I watch almost no other gun channels. So I have very, very, very little outside influence. So I don't really know what other channels do because I don't watch them. Not because I'm like too cool to watch other channels. It's not that. It's just, it's kind of become work for me. And I don't really want to sit around in my free time also watching gun reviews. So I don't really know what anyone else does on their channel, minus a couple channels. But yeah, we just kind of do our thing, man.
So you have a friend of yours in every video. How did you guys meet? How did that whole thing develop? Because he's flying up from like Arizona to shoot videos with you, which is wild.
Yeah. I think we've gotten used to it, so it's not weird to us anymore. But so his name's Chris Blau. Me and Chris met at a shooting course in California, of all places. And it was with Travis Haley. It was a 3-day rifle class. And it was a cool class. And you always meet people in classes and you're like, oh, we should keep in touch. You never do it.
Right.
But somehow we kept in touch and just sort of developed a friendship. He visited me when I lived in California, and then I moved to Utah, and he was coming up here to deliver a dog or something like that. And we linked up. I let him stay at my house. So it's just a kind of a friendship that developed, based on having met in a shooting class, both being into guns. And I can't even remember how exactly it happened, but I just told him, man, I don't even remember how it came about with him being in videos, but somehow it's just like, well, I can't even remember. Honestly, there was one moment in time apparently where I was like, why don't you come up and be in this video with me? It might be easier to have two people and we'll just kind of go back and forth, and just created a precedent. So yeah, now he flies up from Arizona every month. So we've got like a 4-man crew. It's me, him, the 2 on-camera people, and then Crispy and Buster, who run video editing and photography. So it's like a little 4-man crew that comes out.
That's wild, especially like looking at our process and how you and I are over here sweating all the time. So did you used to do all the camera and editing and everything like that, and you're just like, I'm sick of it, I need someone else?
Nope, not once. I've never touched it.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, Jake went full send off the cusp. And it's funny because in one of the, I think it was like from day of filming this, I think it was like 3 videos ago, maybe 5, because you just posted another one about winter survival for hydration, which is like fantastic.
Yeah, like the hour ago,
he forgot a silencer in Arizona, and he ripped himself for it for like a minute and a half on the video, and I started laughing, and I was like, dude, I get it. Like, you're a perfectionist. It's okay though. Like it's not like it made the firearm worse from a what am I trying to say? Aesthetic viewpoint.
Yeah.
But would it have been cool? Sure. But like, dude, you're good. You're flying, first of all, post 9/11 with everything you need to shoot a film on firearms. Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. I mean, he's flying with a machine gun. Like,
how does that work?
So you can legally fly with guns. There's no issue with it. You here's the rules. You go in, you have to tell the TSA agent, I need to declare a firearm. They're going to be like, perfect. They've done this before, hopefully. Otherwise, it can be a little bit weird just because they don't know what they're doing. Right. Oftentimes, you as the person that does this all the time, you know way more about how this works than the person behind the gate. But you tell them that, they get a little card that they fill out that just says like whatever, and they put it in the case. You sign the thing saying that there's a gun, but the gun can't be loaded. Ammo has to be separate from the gun, so they have to be in like separate cases. It has to be in a hard lockable case, so like either a Pelican case or just a hard lockable suitcase. As long as you throw a lock on it, it counts. Like you've got a Samsonite suitcase and you just throw your Glock in that in like a soft case, but you can lock the hard shell, all good. Or if you've got a suitcase, typically the safe route would be like, look, if you're playing with a pistol, which is what most people aren't playing with literal machine guns, but it's like, hey, take your Glock, like throw it in the Glock case, throw a lock over it so that someone couldn't pry it open and access it, and just throw it in your suitcase, lock up the suitcase, just make sure the box of ammo is in its factory case. It can't be in like a Ziploc bag. If it's like reloads or something like that, no go, they'll confiscate that. But as long as it's in its factory box, yeah, just throw it like in the suitcase and you're good to go. Tell them you're flying with a gun, good to go. You have to pick it up at the little TSA like closet for Delta when you land. That's it. I mean, I fly in and out of California with guns and it's all good.
Never had an issue.
I had an issue once, but it was because the TSA agent did not know what she was in Utah of all places. She was like, oh, well, you know, this doesn't like she didn't know the rules. And instead of opting to learn them, she was just like, yeah, you're not flying with it. So I like had to hustle back to take the shuttle back to the damn parking lot, drop off the gun, fly without it. I was pretty pissed because I'm like, dude, you don't know the rules. And like, hey, at the risk of sounding like an asshole, like you could just tell when I walked up to the gate, I was like, dude, 55-year-old like lady that just she ain't having it, you know? It's like, fuck, this ain't gonna go good.
It's funny because it reminds me of when you were doing the grocery store reviews of products that make no sense on the shelves.
Yeah.
So for those that don't follow Jake on Instagram, that's also part of the skits that eventually led into the real estate comedic skits that you were doing. This is like 9 years ago.
Yeah, it's just shit. Yeah, I forgot about it.
You would walk in, you're like, this doesn't make any sense. Why are there 5 brands of the same chip from different companies saying different things for the same product? And you would just call them out. And then you're like, this is dumb, I'm leaving. And then when COVID first hit and masks were being enforced, you're just like, I literally forgot one. And it's not that I care about wearing a mask or not. I just don't have anything for it. I'm going in with my underwear. And then you filmed it. And then you just walked into a store with underwear on your face. And you're like, these are clean enough. Like,
yeah, I had some compression shorts in like my bug out bag just in case you ever need to like hike home from the middle of nowhere. And I was like, well, if you guys are going to let me in to ship this thing at FedEx, then I'm throwing some compression shorts on my face. Like, you're just going to have to deal with it.
And it worked.
Like, I need to ship this thing. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm not going home.
I love it.
Weird times.
So the channel kicks off. You're now surpassed 60,000 subs. So congrats to you. I mean, that's a huge milestone.
Thanks.
Isn't it at like 50,000 you get some plaque or recognition from YouTube where they're like, hey, you're not garbage anymore?
I think that's 100.
Is it 100?
It's 100, yeah. At 100, you get a YouTube play button, which I have to admit, if I'm being honest, I'll probably be kind of excited that day.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I probably will be kind of like, all right, that's kind of cool, especially in a space of like firearms and stuff where it's like you are not favorably like received on this platform, you know, like the odds are not in your favor. And so yeah, it's so weird because it's at 100, which I'll kind of nerd out when I get that, I'm sure. And then it goes straight to 1 million. Like, really? No 250,000 plaque or like half a million? Like straight from 100 to 1 million? Like,
and then like
damn,
10 million too, right? Isn't there a 10 million one?
I think so. I think you're right. Yeah,
raising the bar quite a bit there.
Yeah, and I think the 10 mil is like decked out in diamonds. I don't know, something absurd.
It
I think
better
there's
be.
4
Right.
people that have it.
It's wild.
Crazy.
So you and I went back and forth about monetization and how it would work, and then that kind of bled into our mutual obsession / passion / appreciation for bourbon. So when did you? I didn't know that you drank like ever. I just figured it was water, shakes, and like just being a clean, sober dude. And then now it's, no man, look at my shelf. I'm like, where did you know about this brand? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, honestly, it was so I was never like anti-drinker, like, oh, I don't drink, like, you know, I'm that guy. But it was never a thing for me either. But so here's what did it for me. So COVID pops off and I'm a bachelor, like been a bachelor not my whole life, like been in relationships, but never been married. Right. So I'm a bachelor and I live like a bachelor. It's like, it's me and a dog and a bunch of guns in my house, you know, leather and old woods, things like that. And
earth tones.
So yeah, exactly. So a home inspector gave me a bottle of High West Double Rye as like a Christmas, like, thank you, like, I don't know, probably now 2.5 years ago, something like that. And so I just had this thing. And as a bachelor, I eat out exclusively at that time of life. Like, I never made food. Like, I probably had not made a meal for myself in a meaningful amount of time, like years. Just not what I do. I eat out, I eat healthy, but I find ways to eat out and be healthy. And so COVID pops off, everything starts shutting down. And I kind of go, I think I'm gonna have to figure out how to make food. Like, like I think I'm gonna have to figure out how to like provide a meal for myself. And honestly, it was still to date for me my the best thing that's come out of the whole COVID era for me. So I start having to figure out how to like make a meal for myself. I have this bottle of High West, and like I had a drink when right, everyone's stressed, everyone's freaking out, the world's ending, and I'm just like, dude, fuck it, I'm having a drink. And I did not enjoy it at all. And I'm still not a big rye guy. Like I'm not like I don't like super spicy drinks and like the double rye especially. And so I did not enjoy it, but it took the edge off. And I started to kind of go, this is kind of an interesting little ritual where it's like you have a drink, you make a meal for yourself. I was like, I don't know. I kind of like the idea of that. So like every night, that's my thing now. Like I genuinely look forward to the end of the day, not because I'm like, I hate work and I'm ready for the day to be over. Like I look forward to that process of like, I want to have a couple of drinks, take the edge off, and it tones my brain down. It's a little overactive sometimes. And I make a meal, and it's like, dude, I eat dinner like I'm in Rome, where it's like, it's 9 p.m. when I'm having dinner most nights. But like, I enjoy it. I have my couple little drinks, and I have a meal, and like, so that bottle of High West Double Rye, that was the thing. It was the bottle that got me into it.
Do you still have any of it in your house, or have you moved on?
I killed that bottle, but High West is, you guys know High West, I'm assuming.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't think like that's just regionally known. I think High West is pretty mainstream at this point. But yeah, you know, High West is in Park City, so that's 45 minutes from my house. And yeah, so they've got a saloon there, which is really good too. Like they have a great like place you can go eat and have drinks and stuff. Like it's super cool. And no, High West I've been collecting lately. That's kind of like, especially given that it's local, it's a rare for Utah being in a dry state. It's one of the few. It's the only advantage that we have is that we have High West. Like it's the only thing. You know, the Old Forester will come out with the birthday bourbon or whatever, and you're like, cool. I have no shot of getting that because I don't live there, and I'm not going to pay $1,000 to get it.
Sure.
High West comes out with whichever special edition. It's like, dude, I'm driving my ass there right now to get it. So it's like I can actually get all the stuff that they come out with. So it's become like that distillery that I'm trying to collect everything from.
So what do you mean by Utah being a dry state?
Just like it's all state controlled. Like there's every liquor store is state run, which New York's not like that, is it? Right? Because like Addie's is that's not a state run.
Correct.
Store. Correct. Yeah, like everything is like it's all state run, state owned stores, which is bad news because they regulate what we can and can't get here. Like you won't see Mitchers, you won't see name a distillery. Like you see a little bit of Buffalo Trace stuff, but very rarely. But
you're probably not getting a ton of allocated stuff there either, right? Like Blanton's and stuff like that.
I've never seen Blanton's here. We'll get Buffalo Trace, but that's bottle per person. But the only upside of being in a what we call a dry state is that because it's all state run, all the prices are locked in. You pay no markup on anything. So if you see it, like you're paying the straight retail on it. Which that part of it that's nice.
Sick.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you see Buffalo Trace. I mean, that's a bad example because no one really pays out the ass for Buffalo Trace, but whatever you see here, you're just paying whatever the distillery sells it for.
That's huge. I thought dry state means like no alcohol in this county, like none at all. But it just means that state owns it. Yeah.
Well, I'm probably using
for the most part. Yeah.
Honestly, that probably is what it means, and I'm just spouting off at the mouth.
Well, if there's liquor stores, then they have to be able to sell them. So that's interesting, though. Yeah. And that's sweet that you can get it for basically market price. I mean, you see 100%. A lot of places around here just marking stuff up like crazy because it's allocated, and you can find a bottle of Blanton's in a liquor store for like $1,000. Not that much, but like $300 probably.
It depends. I mean, there's certain like duty free's cheap, but then you can also go to name a liquor store and they're like, this bottle of Eagle Rare is going to be easily $900. This bottle of Pappy's is going to sell for $1,200, and you're like, why? And they're like, well, we only got like 2 of these, so that's why. And you're like, oh, okay. Appreciate it. Yeah. Like, is it here? It's like, no, it already sold. Like, what do you mean? You said you just got it. And you're just like, yeah, you took too long. Like, it's ridiculous how fast things fly off the shelf in New York. But yeah, the whole situation's nuts.
Tell me what you think of this. I have a premise, and I want to know what you guys think of this, because you're enthusiasts. So I want to know if you think I'm crazy on this, which is fine. I have no issue being wrong. I'm wrong on things all the time. But I have a notion that Buffalo Trace is overhyped.
Absolutely.
as a brand. I'm not just talking about the actual bottle. I'm talking everything under that umbrella. I think it's all overhyped.
We'll even take it one further and say that Kentucky in general is overhyped, and we're going to get a lot of shit for that. But there's a lot of places in Kentucky that just don't live up to that expectation. Like Buffalo Trace. I mean, I completely agree with you. Buffalo Trace is not as good as it tastes, or as good as it sells for.
The price.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Same with Woodinville or Woodford.
Yeah,
Woodinville is what we prefer over Woodford.
So I'm not a big Woodinville guy. I've got a bottle. I was a little let down by it. It's just, occasionally you go, I can't even tell you why it's not really my thing. It's just not my thing sometimes, and like we all kind of have those moments. But Woodford Double Oak, I think we shared the love for that.
Yeah. Double oaked is a different story, but standard Woodford, you're gonna just be like, it's $50 for what? Like why? And there's a lot of Kentucky, from our standpoint, which we've openly said on multiple reviews where we've done enough where people question if we have a problem or not, and they're onto something. And
they're not wrong.
It's the same tasting profile. They generally taste the same. Their proof points are almost all identical. The aging process is almost all identical. The char level's the same, and it's just kind of like, But if you go to Texas, it's a totally different experience. Oregon, Washington, like name it. Like even Tennessee's slightly different, where you're like, oh, that's fun. It's a little different. It's just, I don't know, Kentucky in general, it's because that's where it's from. Yeah. So they're always going to have that going for them, and they can utilize that for marketing.
You get so many whiskeys coming out of one area of the country that all has the same climate, all has the same barometric pressure, like Justin Harmon was telling us. Yep. You get these same whiskeys that are in the exact same environment, just maybe different tiers of the rickhouse, and it's like, all right, you're not getting that much out of that tier.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to do the Bourbon Trail later this year. I'm going to try to do that at the end of the year, because it does seem like a lot of fun.
Sure,
absolutely. I don't know if you wind up really scoring anything that's like amazing or not. I mean, I guess that's probably part of the fun, is that kind of hunt to see what you can find. But to do the tours and everything would be cool. But yeah, I'm definitely like, there's a lot of good stuff that I'm enjoying. And like even on the Buffalo Trace thing, like I enjoy virtually everything that I try under that umbrella. But when you start going, $300 for a bottle of Blanton's or whatever, you're like, that's not a $300 bottle of booze.
Right.
Like, sorry. Not. If I was paying like MSRP for it all day, I'd buy all that shit. But yeah, when I'm paying, like my parents got me a bottle of Taylor, just the standard like small batch for Christmas, and that was like $135 and $135. And then when you look and you're like, that's a $35 to $40 bottle of booze. You're like, a 4x markup. Like, don't insult me. Like, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, though. Eagle Rare is probably the one that within that umbrella where I'm like, I'm cool with the $80 price point on that.
Yeah, Eagle Rare is good. But High West. So, what's your favorite High West product now?
Midwinter's Night Dram which is definitely kind of become a trendy bottle from everything that you wind up seeing just on the interwebs. It's like that's kind of the trendy bottle from them. But yeah, they came out with that in like November, and I drove up. My only regret was I bought a case, because they would let you buy a case, $100 a bottle, but I kept two, and a couple were for a local buddy, so they were just being given to him. And then the other two I traded for a bottle of Weller and then a bottle of Blanton. So it was it was an appropriate trade. Like that was a trade where you're like, yeah, sure. I feel like we all kind of got a fair trade on this. But man, that shit is amazing. They came out with their or did a re-release or new, I don't know how many barrels they did or whatever, but of that bourbon rye combo, Boo Rye, or however they pronounce that thing. Yeah, I scored 3 bottles. I was such a degenerate. It was like a Friday and it was 10 a.m. and it was like 19 degrees outside, and I'm waiting in line for the thing to open up, I'm like the fifth person in line. I'm like, yeah, like I felt proud of myself. I'm like, this is you have a problem territory,
sure.
but somehow I was totally good with it. But I was like, yeah, I got my 3 bottles of that.
Do you like the campfire?
I hate it.
Yeah. So did you. You didn't like that either.
I couldn't stand it. I was like, why are people flocking in droves for this? And then Derek's like, oh, I think it's pretty tasty. I'm like, dude, this is wild.
It's straight up drinking from a fire.
Yeah, it's too smoky.
Too smoky. I mean, it's like the morning after you wake up and like your sleeping bag smells like a campfire. You're like, it's the exact same smell when you crack that open. This weekend I'm gonna go pick up a bottle just because it's a void on my High West shelf. Like I don't even intend on opening it. I just need it to fill out the row so that I can keep getting everything. But yeah, campfire, I'm a hard pass on that shit.
Is there a bottle outside of that you're looking for right now, or are you kind of set with your collection?
No. No. It's expanding rapidly right now at a problematic pace. So I had these 2 there's, I don't know if you guys have ever had it. I'd never seen it. Like I was aware of it because it's on my Bourbon Trail list of like small distilleries that I want to go to. But the bottles are called Very Old Saint Nick, and pretty small. And like the retail in the bottles is usually like 170. It's kind of on like my bucket list bottles list. And I saw that on Total Wine site they had them in Arizona. I called Chris, my buddy in Arizona that films with me, and I'm like, get your ass in your truck right now and get over there and buy those 2 bottles for me. And so he had to fly them up in his Pelican like a week ago. But I'm just like, I added those. That Jameson Blender's Dog, I just got that. I'm pretty excited to try that. That'll be one of those. I don't know if you guys get like this. There's bottles where you go, I know I have a very low likelihood of ever really being able to replace this, which adds that significance to when you actually decide to crack it. Cause I'm like, it's now a perishable asset. And It's like, when it's gone, it's probably gone. And it like makes me so like, it's thrilling, but it's sad at the same time. It's thrilling cause you're like, I'm drinking this shit I'm never going to be able to get again, but it's kind of sad because you know, once it's gone, you're probably not going to get it.
I ran into that. I was gifted a very specific bottle of Blanton's, and I was trying to come up with a reason to open it. And I was like, landing on a firstborn. Like, I don't know what else is appropriate for it. Just, it's like 132.6 proof. Like, it's insane. It's the one I sent you when we were texting back and forth. I was like, when do I open this? Like, I'm terrified of it. I cradled it like a football. I felt like Saquon Barkley walking to my car, and it was icy when I picked it up. I was like, I can't. Like, I'm terrified of this thing.
Yeah. Yeah, now, this is actually something I wanted to ask you. Now, this is selfish on my part, but I'm curious if you guys follow any sort of similar system. So I have, just doing a little bit of homework, it would appear from most sources that, hey, once you pop a cork on a bottle, that, and especially as the air starts increasing in bottles, that they will kind of deteriorate a little bit over time. Right? Not like it's not safe to drink, but just like, hey, that flavor profile is going to change. So I'm trying to adopt a system where it's like, look, within a year of cracking it, she's gone. Like, because based on most of what I've read, it seems like, hey, a year in 2 years, like, especially depending on how much air is in there, you're going to start, like, it's going to start changing. And I'm like, I don't want a compromised bottle. So once it gets cracked, 1 year. That's the timeline to finish that thing.
Now, it's definitely, who was telling us that too? Was it Justin Herman?
Yeah, we went back and forth because we hit a point where it's the same thing with a decanter. If you hit half, if you're at 50%, it's time. Yeah. Like, hammer down,
hit it.
Start drinking it. Yeah, hit it and get rid of it because there's too much air inside of the space, and you're dead on. So we don't have like a year time frame. I think but again, this is why people think.
Yeah, well, the problem is we crack a new bottle every week.
Well,
so
there's
that's the issue.
There's that, but I think our rule is 50%. If whether it's a decanter or a bottle, if it's 50% full because we're optimists, then it's time to hit it.
Yeah, I think that's fair. That's kind of, in true psychopath fashion. Now, this does not do me any favors. I told Chris this. He was up here and he was just looking at the shelves filling out, and he's like, dude, you got a problem. I was like, I'll tell you about problems. I was like, I crunched the numbers last Sunday. Like on Sundays, my day to like play around and just research different bullshit. And I was like, okay, how much do I drink a week? And I crunched it into like ounces and milliliters. And I'm like, how many bottles would I wind up killing a year based on what I like drink a week? And I'm like, about 36 bottles is what I would take down single-handedly a year, right? So about every week and a half, a bottle's gone. And so I go, okay, so my threshold for myself now is 36 bottles can be open at a time because they will be consumed within a year.
There you go.
And then, hey, once we hit 35 bottles, that is permission to go crack another one. And like literally I have it on like a fucking spreadsheet where it's tracked like when shit is opened and when it needs to be completed by. Like full psychopath behavior.
See, this is why I'm glad I'm not that analytical, because it would be a dumpster fire for me.
Things don't last at your house anyway.
Well, we're Irish, man. Back me up.
I inherited some analytical Irish gene or something because it's got a problem now.
Our biggest issue, or well, at least mine, is that I like collecting whiskey from around the world, so different countries. So we have in my basement, I have Japanese, Scotch, obviously American, Welsh whiskey I just picked up, Indian whiskey. I have the first whiskey distilled in Tel Aviv. So I like collecting these whiskeys from around the world. Problem is that we open it to review it, and then it's just one sip gone, and I'm like, it's got to last longer than a year, right? It's only one sip. It's basically brand new.
Yeah. And I don't know, like truth is, I doubt that my palate is sophisticated enough to really start to detect some of those differences. Like I fully admit, like, dude, I can tell you what I like and don't like, but when people go to like people who are really good with their palate, I'm like, dude, I don't even know how you do that. Like I can tell you if I like it or I don't, but like I cannot verbalize it like some people do. So I probably wouldn't even be able to detect the change. But I'm like, yeah, that 50% rule, that's probably a good one. Because at that point, it would seem like that thing's going to start to fade,
Yeah, I have a bottle of Glenlivet 12 that's probably been around for a year and a half now, and I had it the other day, and I'm like, it's losing it a little bit. So you can start telling. It just gets weak. That's all it is. It just gets really weak.
Yeah.
And nothing's weak in this house.
You're a disaster.
Weak whiskey ain't got no place there.
Exactly.
So what's next for your channel? Like, would you ever incorporate whiskey-related content, or are you just strictly guns?
So we filmed last Friday we were filming, and I was like, I'm just going to try an idea. I think this is what I was texting you about, Mike, maybe a couple weeks ago, which is I have it, like I'm trying to get sponsors for our channel right now, which is, man, that is such a weird thing to do. And it's fucking hard. And it's just like, why is this so like a pain in the ass? But, I have a notion of, I'd like to have products or services that are friendly, like a good mutual fit for our audience, even though it might not be a gun. So I'm like, hey, whiskey is one of those. I'm like, these crowds go together. Gun guys largely are like whiskey guys or drinkers, beer guys, whatever it is, right? And so I'm going to try to find us a sponsor that is like either red meat or whiskey related. But I started, and like we filmed 5 videos last Friday, and I was like, hey, look, at the start of videos, I'm just going to test the notion, which is I'm going to do a bourbon feature at the start of the video. Like, hey, this video will pair well with this. And so like I brought the Blender's dog. Woodenville was actually one of the ones that I brought. And I'm like, it might be a total waste of time. Largely, it's probably just my selfishness where I'm like, let me see if I can somehow start to combine these worlds. Like, I don't want to start doing whiskey videos, but maybe there's some way to start to fuse these together a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. I just throw stuff at the wall sometimes and just see what works.
It's the randomest things work, though. Like, something you wouldn't even believe caught on. Like, oh, this episode just, for some reason, skyrocketed. I don't even know if there was a market for this. So it's a good idea. I mean, just throw stuff at the wall.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm like, selfishly, I'm like, man, it'd just be great if some whiskey company's like, hey, we'll sponsor that. Oh, you know what I actually wanted to ask you guys about? And like, I don't know if this is like podcast stuff that you can talk about or anything, but like, I think it's super cool that you guys have your barrel that you did. Like that, barrel. I guess it wouldn't be a barrel pick.
Yeah,
maybe
single barrel.
Barrel pick.
Yep,
you're right.
Yeah. But like, how did you guys go about that? Like, to me, that's so fascinating, and I would love to do something like that at some point. Like, how did that come together?
So you actually know this name, but Pat McNamara.
Yeah.
So one of his sponsors is Taconic Distillery, and Taconic is in the Hudson Valley. So we ended up getting they produce stickers, and it's a Pat Mac sticker that's on their bottle, and they shipped it to us because I reached out to him and I was like, hey, I'm a huge fan of Pat Mac, like follow all of his stuff. And this is before he introduced his coaching squad. So, which is basically like his Patreon. So they reached out to us and they're like, if you guys ever want to do a single barrel, like let us know and then just come down and do it. And it never even like occurred to us at that point. We're just like, yeah, that's a thing in like 75 years when we get to that point, like who knows? And then they brought it up to us and we're like, maybe there's something to that. Tabled it for a little bit. And then we ended up linking up with another local distillery out by us, within Buffalo, Three Chord, which was our first one that you saw. And they were like, you guys can definitely do a blend and we'll just do it. Like, we love what you guys are doing. Like, we'll just work with you. And we're like, all right, cool. And then the bylaws kicked in and we're like, how do we do that? Like, we don't know anything. We're just like, everything's by the seat of our pants. And we're like, all right. So then naturally, just like every podcast interview ever, we just started asking questions to everybody. Liquor stores, the distillery themselves. We had a ton of meetings. And then once we got our blend, then it just spiraled into working with Addies. And then that basically solidified the relationship with Addies, where they're just like, we got you. Don't worry about it. Hartman's stepped up huge. And they're just like, if you want to place a bunch of bottles in our distillery, we can sell it. Because in New York State, you have to have the license to move the product. So having those outlets was huge for us. And we started small to keep demand high. And that's just something that I'm super anal about, whether it's merchandise or a single barrel or whatever. So we had 120 bottles and we're like, let's see what the demand is. Let's, dip our toes in the water. And then it just took off. And now we're just like, all right, we can do like 4 a year. And we're like, all right, we'll figure it out. But it's wild. But it basically stemmed from Taconic mentioning it to us and passing in like an Instagram DM. And they're still on our list of now that we kind of know what's going on. But yeah, it bloomed into now we're looking at different ways to go about it from a packaging standpoint, seeing how we can get it out to more people. Cause I got family in San Diego. I got, you're in Utah. There's people family in North Carolina. There's people all over the place. Same as Florida. So we're trying to figure out how we can do this because it's not wine. So it's a huge logistical journey that we're on, and it's fun.
So it might be tough for you to partner with the state liquor store there, So like we can partner with Addies, who isn't a state liquor store, to help us distribute some of this. It might be a little more difficult for you to do that, but I'm sure there's workarounds, man. There's got to be.
Or if it even didn't come into Utah in the first place.
Sure, yeah.
If it's like, like whatever, some Kentucky like small distillery that is down to do some of that, and they're like, hey, we'll make it, and we can. I don't even know how all that shit works, but they're like, hey, we can basically handle the fulfillment for you, and we can ship to states that we're allowed to ship to. Like, cool, like. Hey, I'll come get my bottles for me, but beyond that, I don't care if it ever really comes into Utah, or hell, just I mean, I don't say too much on a public forum, but
right.
Yeah, no, it was fun. It was really cool for us to do.
ATF. No, it's super cool though. Like, and your guys' packaging was really good and everything. I'm like, man, that is super cool.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Thanks.
It's tough, and congrats to you. Dude, how many subs did you have before you finally got an ammo sponsor?
Oh Jesus! I mean, we got that like 2 months ago. I don't know,
64,900. Like,
somewhere in there. Yeah,
that's ridiculous. 64,000 subs before he got an ammo sponsor.
Jesus.
Right?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it makes kind of sense actually, because during COVID, anything related to firearms, whether it's ammo, guns, whatever it is, it just sells because everyone lost their mind and just buy everything, and then all the protests, all that stuff was popping off, and so everything's just selling, right? And so ammo companies are like, we don't need any help selling ammo, like we're good. Like, as fast as we can make it, we can sell it, and things are starting to balance out a little bit now. So we just linked up with a shop that was a little bit newer and starting a retail component. So fortunately for generally speaking, I can shoot for free right now, which is a very nice change of pace.
Absolutely. How many rounds do you go through in a video? Does it vary? I'm sure it varies a lot.
So we did like, so there's a couple batches of ammo. There's stuff for like, hey, testing and actually getting to the place of like, cool, we're ready to film it and review it. On like filming days, we usually do 4 to 5 videos, sometimes even upwards of 6, which is a lot, especially because our videos average are 20, 25 minutes long, but they're also fairly, I don't know, I think they're fairly decent on production value as well. So like when you start going, man, you guys do 5 of those in a day, it's like, yeah, it's a full day. And so we don't throw that many rounds on the actual filming day. Each gun's probably getting 150 rounds thrown to it when we actually film it, which is not that much. And frankly, the purpose of even shooting on those days is not to go like, how does the gun work? I already know all that shit. Like we've already done all that. Like this is purely about getting cinematic stuff. Like this is just about footage. Like it's not about anything other than that. Just make the video look good.
At what point do you circle back to videos that you already filmed? Like if the P365, like will you go back and refilm it even though that was your first video filmed?
Probably not. No. Like we'll revisit some guns, but it's under like a different premise or something. Like we might be doing another SIG 365 thing coming up, but it would be more in like a training environment. Like, hey, it's not really about the gun anymore. Like we just happen to be using this gun inside of this video that's on this drill or or whatever it is. So, but no, we don't really do. Some people try to milk content like a lot. I don't say that in a bad way, but they'll be like, hey, I just got this in, here's a first thoughts video. And then they'll do the thorough video, and then they'll do the like 3 months later video. And I'm like, cool, it's like 3 videos on the same thing. I'm like, we basically condense it all into one like kind of big, do one big video on it.
Yeah, I think from a 365 standpoint, or any firearm in that regard, would be like the 365 XL versus a 365. And then even depending on which generation of 365, when they first rolled out, there was a couple issues with them. SIG fixed it. But, I mean, that would make sense, I guess, from a content standpoint.
Yeah. But I've done probably 2 or 3 videos on the XL because there's one sitting 5 feet from me on my counter because it's my carry gun most days. So like, yeah, we've done a couple different videos on that, but yeah, for the most part, it's like, we're kind of one and done.
Sure.
When you say 5 a day, is it all on the same firearm where one of the 5 is dedicated to B-roll footage?
No, like literally 5 complete videos.
All different firearms?
Yep.
Dude, that makes sense why you have notepads during the videos where Chris is like, all right, let me pull up my notepad, because there's just so much information that you guys are putting into each video.
Well, yeah, because it's a month worth of, or more, 1-2 months worth of research and collecting your thoughts and coming up with, research notes, all that kind of stuff. So you go, hey, look, when it's time to, and I've got to do that presentation, if you will, on 6 different, 4, 5, 6 different things in the course of a day that spans typically about 10 hours. Like usually our days are about 10 hours long. So you go, dude, there's no way I'm going to remember all this shit. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like in most gun videos, I'm sitting here holding a piece of paper and I'm like, it's not that I'm trying to like read a script. I'm just trying to reference notes because I'm like, dude, I got half an hour. I got to do, go through all this shit, but then I got to do the same thing on a different thing 10 minutes later. It's like, there's no way you're going to remember all that,
Yeah.
So, I mean, cause like we've got our system. Like we show up, Crispy and Buster take the different products. They get like B-roll in photos of the product while me and Chris are setting up targets, jamming mags, doing all that kind of stuff. They complete with that. Then we move on to the shooting stage where it's like, hey, look, all the things that like live rounds have to be shot. We do all that. That's usually about 2 hours. And then beyond that, then it's now actually doing all the talking stuff. So we kind of break it up into 3 different chunks.
That's sweet. Do you consider yourself like a content creator, or are you a YouTuber? Like, what do you consider yourself?
Honestly, I never really think about it. Like it's, I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I think living in California so long, especially in LA, I have a real resistance to people being like, oh, like I'm creative or I'm an actor because of like, yeah, sure you are, dude. So it's like, because I came from that environment where I lived in, it's like I have a real like chip on my shoulder about people who are like, I'm a creator, I'm an artist, whatever. But it's like, hey, if I'm being honest with myself, like, well, of course I'm creative. Like, of course I'm a content creator. Like it's there. You can go see it. Like it's not debatable. You can say I'm a bad one, and that's absolutely debatable. But to say that, like, yeah, of course I create shit. Like, whether you like it or not, it's up to you. But yeah, I mean, yeah, we create.
It's wild, the world that we live in. Like, that this is something that you can do, because there's probably a lot of people out there that think that it's easy, and it's not.
No.
Like, how many hours do you think you put in a week, like doing everything?
Oh shit. I'd say, hey, between, real estate and then the gun shit really being like, that's where my working time is spent, like between those two things, which the irony, of course, is that they fuel each other. They both kind of need each other to exist. Mm-hmm. But it's about 50-50. Like of my total hours worked a week, probably 50% of it is just dedicated to working on content related stuff. And then the other half of it is actually like doing real estate, like like we've got a wire transfer that's hung up right now. Cool, got to deal with that, and inspection, whatever it is, so it's like, I don't know, probably I'd say a minimum 30 to 40 hours a week on each side. I mean, like it's a full, like the content thing, it is a bona fide like full-time job. Like today, like I mean, it's comical because it's part of the gig in a weird way, but like, I got in a new plate carrier today that we're going to be tying into a video that we're going to be doing next month. And it's like, well, you got to start getting time on it. I've been wearing a plate carrier around the house today. It's like, well, you got to start seeing, is it comfortable? How does it fit? Like, what's it like getting it out of it? So like, I'm doing my work and like, I'm on real estate calls and like, I'm wearing body armor and a plate carrier. It's like, well, you gotta start testing this shit somehow. So put it on. Early on,
were you forgetting stuff? Like, oh, shoot, I got this video to film today, and I didn't look at it at all.
No, that's just not my personality. No, like, if we were going to do something, I was for sure prepped for it. I went through a phase of, like, being proud of not really preparing, but I knew exactly what we were going to be doing.
Sure.
And because it's all booked. Like, we book, I mean, like, flights are booked for next month for Chris coming up. Like, videographer, photographer, like, dates are booked out. We're actually doing some collab videos with another channel next month. He's going to be coming up and he's going to be doing like 4 videos with us on our channel, and then we're going to do a couple on his channel. So it's like, hey, that's travel arrangements, that's prepping between 3 different voices now between the 2 of us, and then now this other dude named Alex coming up for that. So I mean, it winds up being like, shit, that's call it 3 years ago, I probably had an attitude like a lot of people have, which is if you talk to someone and they're like, oh, I'm a YouTuber, and like that's part of what I do for a living, you'd be like, sure, buddy, like keep telling yourself that. And then you get into it, and at least my experience of it, going like, I got a total newfound respect for people that do this for a living, especially if you can figure out how to pay your bills with it, because that's a not easy part of it. How to monetize it all, right? And it's like, man, I got a total respect for people that can hustle and pull that off, because it's a lot of work.
Absolutely.
Like it's straight up, it's a lot of work. And for guys like, I'm still in the same boat with you guys, where it's like, hey, I have other work that I do. Like I don't just get to do video stuff all day. I've got to balance it out. So, hey, once you're juggling a full-time job on top of a side hustle that's pretty time consuming, yeah, mad respect for that.
Yeah. Have you had a lot of issues or any issues at all related to your gun content and being on YouTube? Like, have you had stuff being flagged?
Yeah. We got demonetized last summer. So ironically, so I never tried to monetize our channel through the actual like YouTube partner program, and because I didn't even think we would get approved because of both guns and language. Because like hell, I've been pretty good on this show today thus far. I've been doing my best, but
get after it.
But like on our channel, I'm like, look, I made a conscious decision early on. We're gonna talk how we talk. Like, if you don't like it, don't make you watch it. Like, I'm not offended that you don't want to watch it. Cool, just don't watch it.
Sure.
But I figured between firearms, language, we wouldn't even get monetized. I'm at a event in Florida with HK, Heckler and Koch, big firearms company.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure everyone knows that name. And And there was like a big dude's name's John. He runs a page called Active Self Protection. He's like a 2 million subscriber channel, like in the world of, he shows basically like self-defense footage and shit like that, and he analyzes it. He's got like a couple million subs, and I asked him, I'm like, is your channel monetized? He's like, yeah, dude, absolutely. And I'm like, really? I mean, you literally show people get killed, like in every video. People are getting shot, stabbed, all that kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, it's security cam footage, so it's not like you're promoting it, you're just showing it. And I'm like, but you got ads running on that? He's like, yeah. And he's like, I was like, do you think I should try to do mine? He's like, I think it's stupid if you don't. And I was like, okay. So I got home from Florida, applied, got approved in like a day. And then I think it was 2 months later, we got demonetized. And I was just like, man, and like straight up, because like, I mean, it's not like it's life-changing money, but it was about, I was making about $800 a month on just ad revenue, right? Just from pre-roll ads and shit like that. You know, hey, like that's real money, like that money matters to me for sure. And then have it taken away, and then you can't even find out why it got taken away. That's the ridiculous nature of the whole thing. Is you go, okay, can someone at YouTube please tell me why we got demonetized? And all you're left to do is go to forums and have just a bunch of idiots chime in that don't know anything about what they're talking about. So according to people that I don't even think work for YouTube, they're like, oh, you're showing gunsmithing and all this stuff. And I'm like, no, we're not. Like, nothing that anyone came back to me with was accurate. I mean, it was just, not trying to sound like the conspiracy guy, but it's like, the shit that you guys took away the money from, like, it's not accurate. Like, I don't sell guns. We have not shown bump stocks, like none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's garbage, but it's the, nature of the times, I guess.
So you still have not been able to get monetized since?
I'm not even going to try again. I deleted maybe half a dozen videos that I thought could have been the culprits of it, including our most viewed one, ironically, which, it didn't really matter because it's not like frankly, I hated the video. So I was like, I got no issue deleting that, even though it's technically the most viewed video that we have. But no, I'm not even going to try. At this point, it's, hey, privately monetize it. Forget about, ads and Google and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, look, go find sponsors, go find paid opportunities, affiliate deals, merch, whatever it is. Like, go create your monetization, because relying on the system to do it for you, not good.
So do you have a site or anything where people can find that awesome Monopoly shirt that you have on?
1911syndicate.com is the website, but we're revamping the merch thing probably about 3 months from now. We'll start like really getting serious with that, because it's kind of a missed opportunity, if I'm being honest. Yeah. Like, we're not like we were selling some merch, we just ran out, and I just get sidetracked with shit. So we're about to redo it.
Yeah, because you got to review or start doing research on stuff a month in advance. I would forget too.
Yeah, my brain just winds up getting stretched thin, and then by 8 p.m. then the bourbon's kicked in. And I'm like, well, I ain't remembering anything now.
Yeah, so, exactly.
Wait till the morning.
Yeah.
Is Chris also in real estate?
Yeah, he's got his license down in Arizona. So yeah, if it's in like the Phoenix area, it's him. If it's around Utah, it's me. But I have I've got a girl out here that works with me. She's got her license. So there's just, we kind of divvy up the local real estate stuff, because I just can't quite do it all on my own anymore, between just juggling all the balls. If all I had to do was real estate, yes, I could do it on my own. If all I had to do was content, I could do it on my own. Like, throw the things together, I need some help.
Absolutely.
Good for you, man.
What are your social media handles and everything so people can follow you?
YouTube's just 1911 Syndicate. Everything's 1911 Syndicate. Honestly, easy. Website, Instagram, YouTube, like whatever the outlet is. Like, fortunately, there's no one else using that name, so it's easy. We've got all those handles.
Love that.
We got last question for you, because I know your time is precious.
No, you good.
The 1911 portion, we have fans and followers and Patreons that also enjoy firearms. Is the 1911 in the name related to a 1911 because it's the greatest pistol to ever exist? Or
it is the greatest pistol. It is not a nod to a specific 1911. I don't have a favorite 1911. but it's kind of my love affair gun where it's like, whatever the thing it is that you're into, right? If you're a watch guy or car, guns, cigars, whatever it is, it's like, don't you all kind of have like a niche within that broad thing of whiskey, cigars, whatever? It's like, yeah, but that thing, like that's my distillery or whatever it is. So 1911s inside of the world of guns is my thing. We had a video. I think it's actually now our most viewed video since we had to kill the other one. It's just called Why 1911s. And it was like my love song to 1911s. I was like, I'm going to make a selfish video. No one's going to watch it. And I had the owner of Cabot Guns, which is in Pennsylvania. Like they do some really Gucci, crazy 1911s. Had him chime in on why 1911s mean so much to him. Ironically, that's now our most viewed video. It was the thing that I thought no one was going to watch. It was just my little bit of poetry to 1911s. And now, but it's like, it summarized everything I love about 1911s. I basically just read the words that someone else wrote to me in terms of why they love them, but it was just a very poetic statement about 1911s.
Again, throwing it at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Dude, you don't know if you don't try, man.
Exactly.
It's like, done some stuff that I thought was going to be great, and it's like, well, that tanked, and then you do some stuff that you think no one's going to care about, and you're like, why did you care about that? Like, I cannot predict what people are going to do.
It's wild.
No doubt.
It's the life. All right, man. Anything else that we didn't talk on that you wanna touch on before we go?
I don't think so. I wrote down a couple questions, but I have one question for you, and then you can wrap it up. But I did want to ask you guys this: do you have a like bucket list bottle that's like, this is my bottle that like I will get one day?
Ooh, that's a good question.
My initial response is some type of very fancy whiskey from Ireland that I haven't pinpointed yet because I haven't really went down that rabbit hole, because I know once I do, it's going to be very bad for me, and I'm probably going to get yelled at by my wife of, was that really necessary right now? And I want to avoid that, but that's my first thought.
Yeah, I'm going to look up mine right now. Because mine is...
I love that. I love that you have it written down. It's great.
Yeah.
It's Balvenie, because that's my favorite distillery. It's a Scotch.
20-year?
The 25-year. But I'll never get that because it's $2,000 right now on Wine Chateau. But maybe one day. You never know. But
you gotta throw it on that like list though of like, I'm going to buy that damn bottle one day.
Mm-hmm.
I do want that. Balvenie's my favorite distillery in Scotland, and it's something that I've always wanted to get. I mean, Balvenie 14 is our favorite because it's an amazing Scotch.
Yeah.
So just getting that would be sweet. Maybe buy it and then crack it open on the 50th birthday, double the year, and then that's it.
That'd be cool.
Do you have one?
That'd be really cool. Honestly, I don't yet. Like the cliched answers or like the Pappies and stuff like that. But I'm almost like, again, kind of the hype train thing where I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know that I'm down to spend fucking $3,000 on a bottle of Pappy. Like I don't know that I care that much. But I will probably have that bottle one day that really is like my unicorn that I'm going for. I don't have it yet. I still I'm still a relative newbie at the whiskey thing. Like it's only been about 2 years that I really started getting into it. So it's like, and I'm still in rookie territory. I'm just learning and like picking up stuff as I can and just having fun with it.
It's awesome.
I think that was one of the biggest reasons why for me it's just something in Ireland, because I had the Japanese Blantons. There's friends of ours that are very deep into the rabbit hole, and they're like, you have to try this because I have it too, and I don't know if you're ever going to be able to experience this ever in your life. We've had Pappies on our show. It's Weller, have Weller, and it'll basically be the same thing. And then I was gifted the bottle of Blanton's, but the person that gifted it to me also had multiples of it. So he had an open bottle. He's like, try it. And I was like, okay. So I already know what it tastes like. But because it's now my unopened bottle, I'm just terrified to open it. So, and the other scotches and things, he's a nut. So he's like, try this, which is great. And now there's just there's probably some really Redbreast or something insane where I don't even know it exists yet. And that'll be the one thing. But it's probably going to be related to Ireland. And that's okay with me because within the States, it's all here. So just drink it. Crush the juice. That's what it's good for,
Have you had I I don't have much Irish, but I got Green Spot. You guys have that? I haven't cracked mine yet.
Green Spot's really good.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
it's the better one of the spots. Like Yellow Spot and Red Spot, I think, are other Irish whiskeys too.
The first time I had Green Spot was actually in Ukraine.
Was what?
Was in Ukraine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's super good. And that was when I only drank Jameson because that's all I knew. Like, I was beyond rookie. Like, I just walked in the door, didn't know what was going on. And then the guy behind the bar is like, I understand you like Jameson and Coke. You're in a whiskey bar. Like, let's sample some things. And that was one of them. And I was like, wow, that's actually really good. Same with Redbreast. I was like, that's what kind of got me really into it. But my catalyst drug was Jameson.
It was my first Irish bottle too. I mean, shoot, I probably only have like 5 Irish bottles, and so like I'm pretty novice on that. But yeah, the Green Spot, I'm excited to crack that one. That's been one I've been intrigued by for probably like a year. I'm excited to know what that's about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's gonna be exciting. There's so many options too.
There's too many.
It's the problem. That's the problem, guys.
Yes.
Good problem to have, though. Man. Good problem to have.
And I'll be honest, like in relative terms, that's my cheap hobby. Like, True. Oh, cool, I can buy a bottle that's $50, $60, $70, or it's like this Sig 551 that's sitting here. It's like, well, shit, the gun without any optics or anything's $4,000. Yeah. You're like, the gun shit gets real expensive. Bourbon, like for sure can, but it's like, man, that's my thing. That's a lot more affordable.
There's cry pants that are more expensive than 54% of all bourbon options in stores. It's ridiculous. Yeah. But when you wear them, you're just like, worth every penny. You're just like super juiced about it.
Yeah, you just look cool, just the civilian walking around some cry pants in Trader Joe's, just looking like a tough guy.
Yeah.
So outside of the 1911, what's your go-to pistol and what's your go-to automatic rifle?
Well, semi-automatic.
Let's see. Yeah, well, yeah. Let's see. Outside of 1911, so 1911, 2011, kind of interchangeable there. The truthful answer would be the Sig 365 XL, because that's what I carry basically every day. Glocks have their place, but are very boring. It's just Legos. It's just a functional tool. It's not sexy. It doesn't do anything other than just work well. But in terms of something that, 2 things that are exciting. This is not what, because now I've given you half a dozen answers, but whatever. 2 like fun guns that I've got. They're like fun pistols. One, the video will actually be out on Friday. It's on a German company called Korth. They make like very, very awesome revolvers. And this Korth revolver that I got, I'm not sending that back. I'm keeping that. It's pretty spectacular. Like, it's a pretty spectacular revolver. 8-shot, 357, and then an HK Mark 23 would be my other like kind of like real special unicorn pistol, most abused pistol in human history. Like, it was designed to be the universal pistol used by SOCOM and all this stuff, designed to be shot suppressed. Like, we did a really cool, honestly, probably my favorite video we've ever did was on the Mark 23. It's pretty damn cool. Easily the creepiest environment that we've ever filmed in, like straight creepy, like very, very, very creepy vibes out there. On the rifle front, I mean, ARs is just too predictable for that to be an answer. So I would say I'm a bit of an AK guy. But to spice it up, I would say really I'm a subgun guy. I love pistol caliber carbines, MP5s, shit like that. I love.
That's sick.
Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen got me into MP5s, man. I can't not admit that. MP5s got me into guns. That was it. It was the submachine gun. Yeah, and it's a 9mm first of all. Yeah, and then they came out with the K, and you're like, it's smaller. You're like, well, now what? And it's like, do whatever you want, man. And then you found out about the mob, and everyone had Tommy guns, and you're like, it's a 45. Like, what's going on here? And then we used them in World War II. I was like, oh my goodness. And then video games. Then you're using them in video games, and you're like, wait, hold on. Like, you can still shoot this now, like today? I'm jealous that you're able to review those because they're nasty.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's part of the fun. It's also part of the problem of it all, is that you get a lot of cool stuff in, right, under the premise of do the review. The problem is, and I've said this publicly, so there's no issue with me saying it again. It's like, hey, in almost every case, if you get something in for review, you have an option to buy it at a pretty significant discount, like usually upwards of 30 to 40%. So you get in all this cool stuff and you're like, that's an amazing gun. And then they're like, do you want to buy it at 40% off? And you're like, God damn it. Like, oh, I have to. Like, I can't send that back. Like, you can, like, and so you get stuck in this pattern of like, you keep picking up all this stuff. It's like, I didn't pay retail for a gun last year in 2021. I didn't buy a gun from a gun shop last year. Like, every single thing that I purchased last year is because it came in for review. It was amazing. And I bought it at a fat discount. And it's like, that's thrilling. It's also problematic. Like, because that's a real slippery slope. So,
oh, yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, I've got a couple MP5s and like, you know, I mean, there's some of my favorite guns. And it's like, dude, fucking love those things.
Yeah, and you can only sell so many houses in Utah.
Exactly. Like, I need to sell a lot more houses to keep up with this damn habit right now. Like, shit.
That's awesome. Well, and thank you so much for your time today. This has been awesome to talk with you. Go follow him on all of his social media and YouTube. Check out some of his more recent videos and some of his old ones too, because yeah, they're gonna be scary.
Godspeed. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna be something. I haven't seen them in quite a while myself. So have fun with that.
Well, thank you so much, man. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, Jake.
Okay, later, fellas.
See ya.
We'll be right back.